Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this video. Stopped by a different bank this time around and got another 10 rolls of quarters, dimes, nickels, and I've put together 10 rolls of Lincoln cents, pennies. So we got a full denomination hunt this time around. They are all circulated. Nickels are the only ones that are bank wrapped, but all the customer wrapped rolls obviously are circulated. No enders. I did find these dimes are interesting for me in that these are like older white rolled. When I first saw them, she pulled them out and I went, oh, okay, bank wrapped rolls. When I looked at that, but no, those are customer wrapped rolls. I don't normally see them in white. Usually they're in the brown. So I'm curious to see. That's a new wrapping for me. I haven't come across. I'm curious about those. Um, and then the pennies are actually a culmination of many different banks because I'm only allowed $1 at a time. I just put them together. But I am curious about some of these. Like this one right here, that's the end. Uh, this wrapper looks like it's going to be short, so we'll look at that. Downfall to customer wrapped rolls. You don't always get what's in there. We have tape on some of the end. When I look at the bank wraps of the Lincoln cents, they're at least circulated, so it should be a good hunt at least. So I'm going to get this all organized. We'll start at the quarters, work our way down, and I'll bring you in for the finds and the unwrappings. All right, folks. So here's what I'm doing behind the scenes: is I'm weighing each of these rolls, 127.5, usually around one with this style wrapper. It's going to be pretty consistent around 227 to 228. And what I'm doing as I weigh these rolls is I'm just looking to see if they're, anything in excess um, or extremely light. And those are going into my tray here based on weight. Try and do this while I talk here and keep this organized. And all right. So what that does now, bring that out a little bit, is I've now gone lightest to heaviest here. And that's more, there's that signature. I hope that's not on all of them. I've seen a pen mark like that on some of the other coins at a different bank, now that I think of it. So I wonder if this guy is just returning coins at multiple banks. That's something I would do. And no silver in that one. And we'll just go through here and just see what is in here. And I'm just going to really quickly whip through these. I'll pull aside anything I might want to scope. That's at least in good condition. All right. Nothing in those rolls, so I'll go through the rest of them. I'm going to scope these three, and if there's any finds, I'll bring you in for a close-up. And here we are for the summary of the quarters. Nothing overly good to write home about. Some great lower mintage finds. I'm going to have these numbers put up here, but we do have the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's a 2009 Philadelphia, so that's a lower minted coin. We have a 2010 Mount Hood, another nice looking coin there, also a lower mintage. What's going on with the focus here? We have a 2012 L Unique, and we know that's been a challenge for many people to get this one. That's a Philadelphia, also a lower mintage. The find, though, was this one, and I don't know if you can see it from there. If I can get the focus here, drop that back a little bit there, is take a look at that. Philadelphia, but take a look at the In God We Trust. And you go put that over. You can see that is a Kansas, Philadelphia, and we know that is a common error coin. Let's flip that over. And it's called the In God We Rust error. What you see here is you can see that faint T did not get stamped as deep as the other letters, the R-U-S-T. That's just a little dye error, a little extra grease. It filled in that T and gave it a weak strike. So that is a In God We Rust error coin. I haven't found one of those for a while, so it's nice to see they're still out there. So there we go. There's the fines for the quarters. I'll put those aside here, and just like we did before for the quarters, and sometime I'm going to do for, see what you guys like, comment on doing this, but we're getting our dimes ready. 13.5. I'm going to weigh these all out. I want to say they should be around 13.5, 114. These wrappers are a little bit lighter. So here's a heavier wrapper, 114.9. So that's, I don't know. Let's just see here. Yeah, 114.4. Let's get this other one. Again, 113.5. So these are all going to be on the lower ends. Ooh, 116. So that's about 2 grams heavy. So that probably has an extra coin in it. 114.6 and 114.6. So yeah, you can see where those are the common weights, and 114.7. So not too heavy. But let's take a look at these now again. For the silvers, I am pretty much looking for silvers. For the dimes, I'm pretty much looking for the silvers. But as I did before, let's take a gander at the lighter rolls, just because I'm curious. Again, I haven't seen these wrappers, the white wrappers. They look like they were bleached. And so that's weighing light. And if we do just a simple edge check on there, this one's just dirty. 1976. Yeah, the rest are all clad. Nothing sticking out. Major on there, 84D. But I'll look for the West Point. I'll look for silvers. I'll look for any proofs. More in detail off camera now. Let's go to this 116 roll. So there's either going to be silver in this or an extra dime. So let's take a look at what we have. Did we get it all? And looks like just some dirty ones. We got some nice thick rimmed ones there, 2016. So there are some newer ones. Clad. That rim is just looking pretty well stamped. 12. There's a dirty one. That is 87. All right, so I'm not seeing silver. Transfer these over and let's see if we have. That roll weighed heavy for an extra dime. So we did make 10 cents out of that one. I'll go through these more in detail and I'll bring you in for any proofs, any silvers, any special coins along the way. All right, here we are with the nickels. I did already weigh those out. Now I can't remember which side's the light, which side's the heavy. Again, lightest to heaviest roll. So we'll take a roll at each end just to see what's in here. Come on. And of course it's not going. Oh, we got a dark one right there. That's got a couple right at that end. I don't know if you can see that. Bring that in. Get rid of that. We got some nice toning on these here. So let's take a look at the end group here. Flip that over. That's just a toned 2000, 7, 2000. But we shall see. Yep, 1941. There's a nice oldie, dirty, and I don't have my scope out, so we'll take a look there. Yeah, that is a San Francisco mint. Where's my cheat sheet? Here we go. 41. So not a low mintage coin, but a 41 San Francisco nonetheless. We do like seeing those San Franciscos. And there's another 2025 Denver. It's interesting being closer to the East Coast here that I'm getting more Denvers than I do Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is a lot closer. So who knows the reason being, but I do get a lot of those 2025 Denvers for the nickels. And anything of interest in these, we got a couple right there in the center. I think those are just going to be toned. Let's just see what that is off the side. Yeah, not a war nickel. That is a 96, so just a dirty. There's a 54. And common, yep, 54 Philly. So that's 250s, 140. Not bad for two rolls so far. 76, 77. And of course, our favorite. Oh, that's a Philly, 1964. All right. We're almost done with this one. Oh, there's another oldie. Let's take a look, see if that's a good date. 47. 47 Philly. Why couldn't that be the San Francisco? That would be a lower mintage. 47 Philly is a common date. 70 Denver. And there's that. All right, so two rolls, not too bad. Okay, spread these out here. We've got two 2025s. We've got a 41, a 47, 54, 59, and a 68 San Francisco. So not bad for 2 rolls. I'll keep going and bring you in if there's a great find along the way or for the summary. And here we are with our nickels. Nothing exciting to bring in. Some pretty standard finds, common. One lower mintage, but not too bad overall. We did have one foreign, 2009 Canadian. We had a 68 and a 69 San Francisco. Add to my collections of our modern finds, we did have a lower mintage 2024 Denver. Like I said, I don't know if these are really low mintage anymore, but we've got 6 2025 all from the Denver Mint. I'll see if I can find a mintage number for that to see where they're at with that, but I get a lot of the 25 Denvers in my area. Of our old finds, we had a 1941 San Francisco. Had to look on that one. Common date, but it is a San Francisco. We do like seeing those. We have a 1942. That is a Denver, and the 42 is an lower mintage, meaning it's under 25 million minted there. I'll put it on there. So that's a good find, best find of this hunt. We had a 46 Philadelphia. That's a common nickel. We also had 1947 Philly. Pretty decent coins, but again, those are common years, so nothing to write home about. We had 2 1954s, and both those are the Philadelphia 54s, another common year and mint. And finally, we have 2 1959. I got excited with this one. The 5 was a little dirty when I first saw it, so I'm thinking, ooh, 39. Nope, it was a 59. And both of those are Denver mints, so again, common nickels. So not too bad. Common for the most part, one under 25 million minted coins. Again, I'll look at that and have that posted on the video. So I'm going to move these around here. I did not weigh out, and I do not weigh out because of the weight differences between our Lincoln cents, copper, and zinc weigh enough difference. You don't get a standard weight roll, but we'll take a look. I'll do one of the bank wrapped rolls here, if I can get that off. We'll do this live, and then I'll pull out one of the other customer wrapped rolls, and let's just take a look, see what we're getting in these rolls. So that's looking pretty good balance there. There we go, between some copper and some modern zinc. So let's just flip through this again quickly. So I pull out all of the coppers. 22, 23. If there's any varieties, I'll pull aside for now and take a look at those off camera. So these 99s and the, hitting on 2025. There we go. That's worth pulling aside. Hoppers. Hey, look at that. We've got a foreign find. And what do we have here? We've got a Canadian and pretty modern 1999 Canadian. So there is our first foreign find of the hunt. So, there we go. Unhooked myself there. Now let's take a look at one of our customer wrapped rolls. see if there's any comparison. That was that bank wrapped roll had a pretty good balance between copper and zinc, and this appears to be predominantly clad. There's a couple copper mixed in there. 91. Ooh, oh, look at that. Second one in. That is a 1941. Grab that one live. Look at that. Our first Wheatie, 1941 Philly. That was a nice surprise there. Second coin in, considering all of these modern 23. So there we go. That's sort of my mess of the finds. These are 70s. That is a 60, 70, 70. Make those piles. These are the piles for me to go through a little bit closer. These are 82, 83s. And two rolls, two finds. We have 1941 wheat cent and turn that around, 1999 Canadian. So good two finds for the first two rolls. I'll bring you back in for any wheat along the way. All right, here we are, end of 10 rolls. You saw those first couple finds was the foreign, and we had a lot of foreigns and that one Wheatie here. But let's bring you back in now here for a little summary of everything. We had 14 of the 1960s. We had 73 from 1970s. We had 30 from 1980s, and I did weigh all my 82s to make sure that the 82 cappers were in here, any 82 zincs were out of the way. We had a lot of foreign finds here. We have a 1965, 1967, and that the 67 is the rock dove. We call it the bird scent. That's a very dirty one. I've got a lot better condition of those. Sorry, going to sneeze here. A lot better of those in my collection overall. We have a 1977, two 1982s, 1986, 1997, 1998, and two 1999s. Ooh, missed those. So 99, 98, 97s. So a lot of Canadian, which is common for me being so close to the Canadian border. Customer wrapped in particular, I do see a lot of Canadian coins wrapped up. Of the finds here, we did have that. Saw earlier, there we go, 1941 Philadelphia. That was our wheat cent we found right at the beginning. That was the only wheat cent that we found. We also did have another spotted, not the best of condition, so I'm probably not going to flip this one up. That's a 1969 Denver, but when you flip that over, yeah, that one's missing the FG and has that floating roof. I'm going to have to, is that the one? I might have put that different. Yeah, so we'll see if I can do it this way just because I don't have my microscope set up. But there's that floating roof version. If you look, other than a little dirt there in that corner, there is no FG in that corner. So I see a lot of those, so nothing really out of the ordinary there. Was thinking about bringing in all the nickels, which we just looked at here. I probably won't. I'll probably only bring in this one. This is that 1942, which was that lower mintage. That's that Denver lower mintage, meaning under 20,000, 25 million minted. So not a key date by any form, but that was the best of the nickel finds. The quarter finds were just, again, that 2009, 2010. So a really bland, boring coin roll hunt this time around. No frills, no thrills, no, oh my gosh, this is a standard. I just say my standard coin roll hunting. So thank you guys for waiting to the end, making it all the way through here. Clicking that subscribe button if you haven't. Now's your time to do that. Give me those thumbs up. Make the thumb colored and mark it so that it works the YouTube algorithm there, guys. And until the next video, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day and happy hunting.